Good afternoon and welcome to Evofound. My name is Neil Schrody and today we're going to talk to you about something a little different than what was originally planned. Today we were going to talk about phase settings on cartridge case side scans to the face of the cartridge case. But we have some information that we want to share with you which relates to some of the settings typically found in Windows 10 to make your Evofinder work more efficiently with the graphics processing. One of the things that we found with some video cards is that they define which ones are going to use your card or your graphics processor on their own, and in some cases they don't determine the Evofinder software to be a graphics intensive process. So what we're going to do in this case is show you how to change that setting to make sure you don't have issues with the graphics functions of your system. Now to do this, I'm going to share my desktop with you so you can see what the changes are going to be that I'm doing. Coming onto here, there's two things that we're going to look at. If we have an Nvidia card that has the software on it, we can right-click on the desktop, and in the pull-down menu, we get an Nvidia control panel. The Nvidia control panel is going to open up, and it's going to give us selections to allow us to define which processes use the integrated graphics card versus the more advanced graphics card. Now when that one comes up, I'm going to show you how it works. Here we go. In this control panel, we get to modify the settings that we have, and we can choose from two tabs here. We have global settings on our managed 3D settings or program settings. In this case, we want to go to the program settings tab, and in here we're going to define what programs use which graphics utilities. Now I have already added the Evofinder into here, but I'm going to delete it out to show you how to add it in again. So I don't have the Evofinder in here. In this case, I want to go add, so I'm going to add a new program to define with the graphics processor, and it's going to ask me which program I want to add. Now if it doesn't show up in my list here, I can use the browse function. I actually have Evidence Finder already shown, but I'm going to go through the browse function so you can see if you don't have it in there where to find that. So I'm going to hit browse, and from here I need to go to the C or the D drive wherever I have this one folder for Evofinder client. Now in this case it is on my C drive. Once I select that, I can go in and I can see the evidencefinder.exe folder. Most of your systems have it on the D drive, so you would then navigate to the D drive, find the Evofinder client folder, and then select the evidencefinder.exe executable and click open. That will place us into the program to customize. And now from here we can go down and select what option we want. By default, it put me to use global settings of an integrated graphics card. In this case, I wanted to use the high performance Nvidia processor, so I can redefine that. And now it's set so that whenever I run the Evofinder client software, it will use the advanced graphics processor. This is a good thing because we are doing the 3D imaging and we want to use that graphics card to give us the rendering and the smoothness and the speed for operation to make the software function properly. Now that we have that done, I'm going to save my changes. I'm going to show you how we do this for using the regular Windows interface. In Windows, if I don't have that Nvidia processor or that Nvidia program, I can go to my Start window and type Graphics Settings. This will open up the Windows 10 graphics setting window, and from here we can do something very similar to what we just did in the Nvidia process. In this case, we want to choose a desktop app, and we can browse to the location of that app. We're going to end up with that same browse window, so we'll go to the C or the D drive, looking for the Evofinder client folder. In that folder, we're going to find the evidencefinder.exe program and open that one up, and it's going to give us an entry here on the graphics setting. So this is a manual setting of how we want it to be used. We can then go into the options and then select to use the high performance Nvidia Quadro card or whichever graphics card is set onto your machine. When you're done, hit save, and that's going to save that into your graphics settings so that every time you launch that software, it's going to use the proper graphics card. Now, one other thing that I want to mention in conjunction with this is when we are using the Evofinder software, if we're in the software and we're not using the graphics function, the software can crash. So we want to go into the File menu, use this pull down, and there's a selection that says Use GPU. We want to make sure that this is always selected so that we are using that graphics processing unit to get the full efficiency of the system. Not having that box checked, particularly if you load multiple samples, the software can then struggle with what it's trying to do and either go slow, stop, or crash the software. So we always want to make sure that this Use GPU is selected. You don't have to go in and check it every time, but just give it a spot check when you look at it next time. And if you do have an issue, go back and look at it just to make sure it hasn't been deselected for some reason. So that's the quick little insight we wanted to give you about the graphics processor unit. Hopefully this is something that's going to already be set to be using that in your system, but if it isn't, we can get those settings set correctly so that your system is going to work more efficiently. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to contact us. And 2 weeks from now, we're going to be returning to the program that we were supposed to be doing this week, where we're looking at the phase relationship between a cartridge case and the side surface to get the face and that side surface in phase when we add them into the system. Thank you for your time and watching this program, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks.